In this video, we will show you how to use the array fill to create a repetitive pattern and then create an in-the-hoop custom tablet case decorated with this quilt-like design. Using the array fill, you can create amazing patterns and use them to elevate plain fabrics, complement quilting designs, and give a unique style even to the simplest sewing projects. The scallop pattern we're creating is used to decorate the case and at the same time keep in place the batting we are adding for protection. Let's see how we can create this tablet case. First, we need to measure the dimensions of the tablet. My device is about 135 mm by 200 mm. Add 3 cm to the measurement of each direction, height and width, and draw a rectangle with this size. In my case, it is 165 mm by 230 mm. Using this sizing rule, you can make a custom case no matter the size of your tablet. To make the bottom corners rounded, right-click on the shape and use the Convert to Curves option. Now, start the node editor, enable the view of the grid to assist you, and add 2 nodes approximately 2 cm away from each bottom corner. Now, delete the node in the corner set the fill of this shape to Applique and remove its outline. Set another fill color to have a better view. As you have probably understood by now, we intend to create each side of the case on the hoop. The Applique tab will first add a running line on the stabilizer and then the machine will stop. On the area shown by this line, we will place the batting and the fabric on top of it. Then the Applique adds a second running stitch to keep everything together. The pattern we will create will go to this area to decorate and hold everything together. Now, using the Auto Border tool, we will create another running line 10 mm to the outside. This will be our guideline for the seam allowance. We will also fill it with our pattern. Select a fill color for this new rectangle. Then go to Fill Properties and select the array type. The clipboard library dialog will appear. You can use any clipboard item to create a fill pattern on the shape. The clipboard gallery has been updated with a series of new designs that you can use to create your own pattern fill using the array fill. There are 21 clipboard items under the names Pattern 1, 2, and so on up to Pattern 21. You can also find them under the tag Quilt. You can use any of them to create a continuous pattern or motif inspired by the Japanese stitching art called Sashiko. For this project, we will use the pattern 5, Wave, to create a simple 2-line wave pattern. Select the pattern Wave 5, click on Insert. Now you need to click and drag to define size and orientation. Hold the Shift key down while dragging so that it is placed parallel to the X-axis. When you are happy with the size of the inserted clipboard item, release the mouse and it will be applied as array. Set Fill Type to Rectangle and make sure Trim Shapes is checked. You may adjust the array properties using numeric values or using the node editor by moving these control handles. You may also use the keyboard arrows for more precise movements. Click to select any of the control handles, and then using the arrow keys of your keyboard, move it to any direction. If you move the central node, you can adjust the placement of the pattern into the shape. Using the Edit Outline, you can still edit the filled shape. We're done editing the pattern. If we separate two objects, we can further customize the design by changing its individual parts to give a completely different vibe to the design. Ungroup the pattern shapes so that we can select any portion of them. We will create a gradient look with 3 different colors. Select any section of the pattern and apply a color. You may choose to select some random shapes for each color and change the fill type to satin cereal to make the pattern more playful. Now, this is much better. Using the optimizer options, I will set the optimization strategy to top to bottom. This will force upper parts to be embroidered first, followed by the lower parts. If we check the sequence now, the pattern is embroidered from top to bottom, followed by the black line. This side of the tablet case is ready. For the other side, the choice is yours. You can use the same design, or change colors, or create any variation of the initial pattern. I'm really excited about creating these quilt patterns that I will make another one for the other side. For this new side pattern, I will simply save my first design under a new name so that I can start from that, thus have all design parts ready and work only on the pattern. Let me show you how. Start by drawing a circle and set its width and height to 6 to 5 millimeters. Let's move the previous pattern out of the hoop and put the circle on the axis. Set X to 0 and Y to 11. Now, select the initial circle and create a duplicate. For the duplicate, set the X to 30 millimeters. Likewise, create another duplicate and set the X to -30. Now, select both circles and set the Y to -11. Actually, I want the duplicates to be on the lower half of the first circle. Now, select the first circle once again and start the Auto Border tool to create some repetitions on top of the circle. Set repeats to 5, distance to 5 millimeters, and position to inside. Now, using the ordering options, move the 2 circles at the front. Then select all parts and from the shaping menu, use the trim option. Delete the 2 circles. Break apart these 2 that are joined and weld this little one to the one touching it. Then delete the ones that are not necessary and you will get this set of shapes. Now let's set the colors and change the stitch types. For the inner shape, select the lighter color, set the outline type to satin cereal, and the outline width to 2 millimeters. For the 2 outer arcs, choose a fill color from the previous color scheme and remove the outline. Set the fill type to satin. Actually, I will edit the shape a bit to manipulate the edges of the satin. You may also adjust the density if you like. So, this set of shapes will be used to fill the tablet case. Delete the previous pattern shapes and put the shapes into the hoop. Now, select the set of shapes along with the black outer outline. Go to Convert menu and use the Create Fill from Shapes option. In this way, the big shape gets filled with a smaller set of shapes. You may adjust the pattern placement using numeric values or using the node editor. Select any of the nodes and use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move around. Take your time to make it as you like. As mentioned before, when designing the other side of the case, you need to separate two objects. Ungroup, and then select all setting parts and set the Remove Overlaps option to Never to avoid overlap removal, which is not wanted here. Keep in mind that in order to sew the two sides together, we need to have an additional running stitch at the end of the second side. Make sure that Add New Objects as Clones is disabled. Select the inner first rectangle and create a duplicate. Move it last using the Sequence Manager. Set a new outline color and remove the fill color. We need the top side to be open, so start the node editor and split the outline. Remove the top side and extend the sides up to the seam allowance. So let's prepare the design and finalize the sequence. Delete the initial part as we don't need it anymore and center the design into the hoop. Let's check the sequence. All pattern colors are now mixed. The red line that sews the sides together should be at the end. So let's switch to manual mode to fix the sequence. To bring together all parts of each color, select by color and then join them together through the Sequence Manager. Do the same for all three colors. The sequence is now correct, and our design is done. Let's get to make it. For this project, we need a suitable hoop, stabilizer, fabric for the outside layer, fabric for the lining, batting, assorted threads, a piece of elastic band, one button, and the printout of the design. Start by placing one layer of stabilizer into the hoop. Load the design on the machine. Start with the first running stitch and wait for the machine to stop. This line will guide you to place the batting and the fabric of the first side of our tablet case. Cut 2 pieces of fabric and 2 pieces of batting a little bit longer than your design. Place one layer of batting and one layer of fabric on top. Make sure that you cover the running stitch, leaving equal space from all sides, which will act as seam allowance. You can use some paper tape to prevent your fabric from slipping. Attach the hoop back to the machine and embroider the second running stitch that will hold everything together. Cut out only the excess batting between the stabilizer and the fabric to reduce the volume for when we'll join the two sides on the tablet case together. Continue with the decorative stitches. You need to go with all three colors, one after the other, for this 3-color variation design. After all pattern colors are finished, a running stitch will come, which includes the necessary seam allowance. We will then follow this stitch as a guide to cut around the first side of the tablet case. Now, this side is done, so remove the hoop from the machine, unhoop the stabilizer and keep it aside. We will now repeat the process with the other side of the case. Hoop the stabilizer, begin with a running stitch, place the batting and the fabric, and proceed with the holding stitches. Now, start the pattern colors one by one, until all three are finished. Finally, embroider the running stitch, which includes the seam allowance. This will be our guide for placing the first side, the one we'd finished earlier, on top of this one to join them together. This side is also finished. So once you're done, keep the fabric on the hoop and simply place the first side on top, right sides facing together. Use some paper tape to keep them in place. Continue with the final running stitch to sew the two parts together. We're done! Remove the hoop from the machine and remove the stabilizer from the hoop. Cut the excess fabric up to the seam allowance line. Turn the right sides out. If you want, you can add some elastic band and a button for a secure closing. Find the middle of one of the top sides and place the elastic band there using a pin. Now, we're going to add the lining for crisp finishing. Use a print of your design as a guide. Mark the outer line. Then mark some seam allowance to the inside. Apart from the top opening, leave another one at the bottom side. Sew the two layers of lining together. Now, slip the lining over the main case. Align case and lining and stitch around the top sides. Now, break out the main part of the case from between the opening you had left on the bottom side of the lining. Now you can sew it to close. Last but not least, iron your case and top stitch around the edge. Put your tablet inside the case to find the right place to sew the button. And that's it! Our In the Hoop custom tablet case is ready. You may use this technique for all sorts of projects, from glass cases, coin purses, or small bags for electronic accessories to quilt-like designs. We'd love to see your creations in the comments below, and don't forget to follow us for more.